In this segment, we will discuss about an important endocrine gland, that is what we call it as pancreas. So, origin of pancreas is basically endodermal. So, it is basically of endodermal origin, right? This pancreas is the second largest gland. It is second largest gland of our body. The first largest gland is basically considered as liver, right? So origin wise it is endodermal origin. Now talking about the location of pancreas, this is located exactly within the loop of duodenum. So it is located within or in the loop of duodenum, which is a part of small intestine. So we have discussed origin, we have discussed the location. Now the length of the pancreas is approximately 12 to 15 centimeters long and the weight is around 85 grams. Pancreas is considered as heterocrine or mixed gland. Now why this is considered as a heterocrine or a mixed gland? Because it has both the parts. It has exocrine part, it has endocrine part. Exocrine part of the pancreas is basically considered as or called as achinal cells or acini, and these achinal cells secretes pancreatic juice. It secretes pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice is poured into duodenum through duct, that is pancreatic duct, and this pancreatic juice within the duodenum help in the digestion. Now talking about the endocrine part. So this is exocrine part, that is achinal cells which secretes pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice help in the digestion of food. Now talking about the endocrine part. Endocrine part basically has approximately 1 to 2 millions of islets of Langerhans, right? And these islets of Langerhans has typical cells: alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells, gamma cells, delta cells, and F cells. Right? Alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells, gamma cells, as well as F cells. Out of these, alpha cells, beta cells, and these cells secretes hormones. These F cells are not secreting any hormone, and delta cell, this gamma cell, is also not secreting any hormone. Alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells secretes hormones. Okay, so now our task is to discuss the hormones of alpha, beta, as well as delta cells. Now 3 hormones we have to discuss in detail. So the first hormone that we are starting with is insulin. Insulin is basically the most studied hormone, right? It is most studied hormone, or it is earliest known hormone. It is earliest known hormone. Insulin is peptide hormone. Now when I am using the word peptide, it basically means that this hormone is made up of proteins, that is amino acids, and it is made up of 51 amino acids. This 51 amino acid is divided into 2 chains, that is chain A and chain B, which are joined together via disulfide bond. Right? Insulin is secreted by beta cells of the islets of Langerhans. So it is secreted by beta cells of islets of Langerhans. Insulin is also known on the basis of its function as hypoglycemic hormone. This is very, very important. Hypoglycemic hormone. Now what is the meaning of this term hypoglycemic hormone? Hypo means less, glycemic it is related to glucose. So what is the job of insulin? Mainly its role is to decrease the blood glucose level. So decrease blood called as anti-diabetic hormone or hypoglycemic hormone. Anti-diabetic hormone. In many reference book you will find it is written as anti-diabetic factor, right? A factor that is nothing but a peptide hormone or a peptide, that is a protein. So why it is called as a hypoglycemic hormone? Because it is decreasing the blood glucose level. That's why it is not allowing individual to suffer from diabetes. So it is anti-diabetic factor or anti-diabetic hormone. Now what basically insulin is doing? It is decreasing the blood glucose level. So this glucose level which is present, this glucose which is present in the blood, it will be converted to glycogen in presence of which hormone? Insulin. And this glycogen is basically stored in liver and muscle cells, right? So one more point we can add on over here is that insulin is secreted by the pancreas. So site is different. Pancreatic beta cells are secreting insulin under the influence of anterior lobe of the pituitary, right? And this was under the control of the hypothalamus. Now once beta cells get activated, insulin is secreted by the cells, that is beta cells. Action will be on the target organ. That is what the definition of hormone is: synthesized or secreted at one place, and it is showing its action, eliciting its response in some other place of our body. And what is that some other place? Either liver, muscles. One more is also there: fat storage tissues, that are adipocytes. So the target organs or tissues for insulin are liver. We will use the technical medical term, that is hepatocytes, because hepat is called liver. Hepatocytes of liver, then adipocytes, and then we have muscle tissue, right? So glucose is converted into glycogen in presence of insulin. This reaction takes place in the liver as well as muscles. So glucose is synthesized and it is converted into glycogen. So it is increasing the production of glycogen, and that we can say that it increases glycogenesis, right? This is again one of the second important function. This is the first important function of this insulin, that it is decreasing the blood glucose level. How it is decreasing? By converting the glucose which is present in the blood to glycogen in presence of insulin, right? And glycogen production is what we call it as glycogenesis. So it is increasing or it is promoting. Let us write one more point here. It is promoting glycogenesis. And what is glycogenesis? Production of glycogen from glucose in the liver or muscle cells. Let us now discuss the functions of insulin in detail, right? So, functions of insulin. First function, it decreases the blood glucose level, right? It decreases blood glucose level. It promotes glycogenesis. So it is promoting glycogenesis. Since it is decreasing the blood glucose level, that means it is allowing the cells, it is stimulating to use this glucose for as a respiratory fuel for glycolysis, TCA, like that. So it stimulates the utilization of glucose by cells. It will stimulate glucose utilization by cells. So glucose, if it is utilized by the cells, automatically from the blood, glucose level will be reduced, right? And the normal glucose level is, I am writing it here, in many reference book it is written as 60 to 100 mg per dl. What is dl? Deciliter, that means 100 ml of blood. So in 100 ml of blood, the normal way, the fasting glucose level is 60 to 100 mg of glucose, right? Increase glycogenesis, or that is promoting glycogenesis, that we have already written. Decrease gluconeogenesis. So decrease gluconeogenesis. Wherever you find the word genesis, it is formation. Where you will find the word lysis, it is breakdown. So decreased gluconeogenesis. What is gluconeogenesis? It is production of glucose from non-carbohydrate source. That is either amino acids are used or lactic acid are used. So what is gluconeogenesis? It is glucose. That is a glucose genesis is for formation. So production of glucose using non-carbohydrate source. That means amino acids are used, lactic acids are used for the production of glucose. So it is also decreasing the gluconeogenesis. Excess of glucose, it is also converted into fats. That means it is increasing lipogenesis, right? Not lipolysis, it is lipogenesis. So it promotes lipogenesis, right? Lipogenesis is basically excess of glucose is converted into fat, right? And one more thing you need to remember, if there is a more accumulation of the fat in the body, ketone bodies also form. So fat is there, glucose is converted into fat, decrease in the ketone bodies is also observed. It is formed by the breakdown of these fats. So excess of glucose is converted into fat, that is lipogenesis, and it is decreasing in the number of ketone bodies, right? Now there is one condition, that is what we call it as diabetes mellitus. That is what we need to understand. If there is a hyposecretion of insulin, okay, a hyposecretion of insulin, hyposecretion means insulin is secreted in the less amount. So hyposecretion of insulin leads to a condition that is called as diabetes mellitus, and it is also called as IDDM. IDDM stands for insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, right? So what is hyposecretion of insulin? That is insulin is secreted in less quantity, right? That is deficiency of insulin in the body, and that leads to a condition. If there is an insulin deficiency, of course decreased blood glucose level will not be formed, so blood glucose level will increase. The condition is called as hyperglycemia. So if there is a hyposecretion of insulin, that means insulin is secreted in less quantity or like that, so that leads to a condition is called as diabetes mellitus. Actually there are two types. Insulin diabetes is there and non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. So first diabetes is IDDM, insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. That means insulin dependent, it is dependent on insulin. Why? Because it is hyposecretion of insulin. In this situation, if insulin is deficient, right, so blood glucose level will increase automatically, and it is around 3 times increase in the blood glucose level is observed. So blood glucose level may reach up to 150 mg per dl. This is normally, right, 150 mg per dl. In many patients it may reach to 400 to 450 milligram per dl also. Then what is going to happen? Increased blood glucose level will be observed in the diabetes. So whatever conditions we have written here will be reversed. So if it is lipogenesis, now lipolysis will take place because energy has to be provided. So lipolysis will be increased. If lipolysis will increase, fat will break down. If more amount of fat is broken down, more ketone bodies will be produced. Here promote lipogenesis. That means glucose is converted to fat. Lipogenesis takes place. Lysis is not taking place. Lipids, fats are formed. Ketone body will not be there. So decrease ketone bodies. Here it is totally opposite. Lipolysis, that means breakdown of the lipids, that is fatty molecules takes place. And if large amount of fatty molecules breakdown takes place, then ketone bodies accumulate in blood. Right? Ketone bodies accumulate in blood. There are other conditions also. Let me discuss here. because of this diabetes only, the condition is glycosuria, that is excess amount of glucose in the urine. See, urine normally does not show glucose if the patient is a non-diabetic patient. If it is a diabetic patient, definitely when you test for the glucose in the urine using specific biuret reagent and phelling A, phelling B, you will get the result, positive result. Brick red PPTs will be observed, right? But in case of this situation, the condition that is taking place is called as glycosuria. What is glycosuria? It is accumulation or the presence of glucose in the blood, in the urine, right? Why in the urine? Because it is not getting absorbed by the body, by the epithelial cells of small as well as large intestine. Why it is not absorbed? Because it is present in its maximum quantity. It is present more than maximum. Normally, if we talk about the fasting glucose level, it is 60 to 100 mg. It is beyond 100 mg, 150 mg. In many patients, it goes beyond 400 to 450 mg. So, how body will store that much amount of glucose? Hypertonicity will increase and the cells will be destroyed. So, glycosuria will be there. And one more condition that is called as ketonuria. Now, what is ketonuria? That is accumulation of the ketone bodies within the urine takes place, right? So these are the two conditions that you need to remember. Now, if we talk about the prevention or the treatment care, basically the two important things that we need to remember is first and the foremost is if the blood glucose level is not that much high. Say normally 60 to 100 mg per deciliter. If it is 140, 150 like that. So in that case, dietary management can be done, that is control on the diet. We should not take large quantity of this glucose or sugar rich carbohydrate rich molecules. If that is also not going well, then last option is for insulin therapy. So the second and the last option is insulin therapy. What is insulin therapy? That is daily dosage of insulin is administered to the patient in order to decrease the blood glucose level. So this was all about the first hormone that is secreted by the beta cells of the pancreas, islets of Langerhans. In the next part, we will discuss about the glucagon, which is secreted by the alpha cells of the pancreas, islets of Langerhans.